Hey guys, it's time for some Chinese department store cinema! And this time it's the Young Avenger. The Young Avenger. Alright, I can't make it sound that exciting. I've already reviewed, I think I might have reviewed a movie by this company already. Anyways, it's Tai-Sung again. They pronounce it, I know that they pronounce it Tai-Sung, but they pronounce it Tai-Sang, or Tai-Sing. S-E-N-G, Tai-Sing, whatever, I don't know. All I know is it's Tai-Sung. Anyways, back to the movie at hand here. This is The Young Avenger. Classic, no DVD inserts. I guess this was a fad way before anything. And the most interesting is even though it's an NTSC, it's an all-region DVD. Great, all-region. So it's almost like it's bootleg. But oh well, whatever. A bit of caution about this movie, just to begin with. There was a copyright notice all over the front of it, and it's like some weird digitized thing that was. It was after like a few minutes of the movie, all of a sudden, bam! They hit you with this big old copyright thing, and I was like, what in the world? And then halfway through the movie, there's a watermark, but it's a little tiny one on the side of the screen, but still, you don't really need watermarks or copyright stuff that burned into the middle of the disc. Just put something in the beginning of it. But what I will say is, this is not a widescreen presentation, even though it was filmed in widescreen. They blew it up into full screen picture, and it looks hideous. If you've ever seen a terrible widescreen to full screen video, then this is it. Oh, you in here? Okay. Sorry, dog interrupted like always. Anyways. So yeah, everybody's face looks really long and everything looks really skinny. So it's like everybody's really tall aliens. It looks bizarre. But anyways, what's the movie about? Well, a guy who's a gambler slash thief. He gambles away all of his money and then he steals it off of dead guys. Yep. Classic. And he always pisses in this one urn. And then this is the most bizarre part, because later you find out this guy who says he's a ghost is not a ghost. But here's the thing about it. When he's after he pees on this guy's urn every time, he says, "How did that taste, buddy?" And the last time he does it, he says, "Didn't taste very good," or something like that. And then it's like, but then he was supposed to be a ghost, but he's not a ghost later, so that only makes you think of one thing. Was he actually drinking the piss? Now that's something to mess with your mind for a million days. Yeah, piss drinking. I might as well call it the young pisser and the old drinker. Whatever. Anyways, now that I've probably disgusted you, I will say this. The fighting in this movie is awesome. I loved it from beginning to end, and even though it could have been a better presentation, give me widescreen. I don't think this was made back in those days to begin with. So anyways, wow. This is an '83 movie and it was produced in 2000. I mean, like, they re-released in 2000. This is the copyright on this disc. So, man, 2000? You tell me in 2000 they didn't know people wanted a widescreen? Much less for an '83 movie. But oh well. I must say this though. The film transfer as far as the quality of picture is really good. Comparative to other such films as Sony Chiba and all the other cheap dollar store movies that I have, their presentation of this movie as far as picture quality was really good. Although, I'll give them, there's got to be one problem with it. They had a couple blurps as far as video content, but what can you do about it? There's not much you can do about ancient film if it wasn't taken care of properly, so there's not much they could have done about it. It's nothing that they did personally, so it's just something they had to deal with. But still, there is one blue scene in this movie, so there you go. If you want a little bit of blue film, there's a little tiny bit in here. About a minute or two, so there you go. But you don't even get to see boobies. Actually, they're like having closed sex, which isn't like even, whatever. Anyways, aside from that, there's not much else to tell you about this movie. Good grief. I wish I had more to talk about, but the movie is really good. It's got decent kung fu action. It was, for an 83 movie, it really looks old school. It still looks like they were using 70s film equipment, which makes it look all the more old. You would think since it was 83 they would have upgraded the camera system. And the most perplexing thing was the dubbing. The dubbing in this movie is really bizarre. Because at first they have these people with British voices. Ooh, I will say, and blah 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 like that. I feel like I'm watching an Inner Ghost. But anyways, then later in the movie you can start to hear an Australian accent. And you're thinking, oh no, I'm in Great Dingery Doo, or whatever. It's really bizarre because then you're like, oh, well, at least it matches somewhat. At least they somewhat sound British, if you like to think of it in that way. And then later you start hearing American voice, and this is like, golly, give me a break. Pick one kind of version of English and have everybody speak it. Otherwise, it just sounds goofy because then everybody's just talking various kinds of English. And it sounds terrible. Because at some points I'm getting used to hearing British, and then all of a sudden they want to start speaking Australian, and then it goes on to English. Although, I will say that they did keep the voice actors consistent, so there you go. I think that's just why they had to pick different kinds of English accents. It was more or less they ran out of voices and voice talent, and they just used whatever. So there you go. Young Adventure, go get it. It's released by Martial Arts Theater. That's what they really called it. They even had a trailer where it was like, by Martial Arts Theater. It's like, what in the world? And they were talking about fax machines and phones. And a couple other ancient things that people don't use anymore. Alright, well, I think I've gone on long enough. But thanks for watching, guys. And I'll probably post another video about Chinese department store cinema or something else I usually post. Or my brother might post this, and I don't know what'll happen. But anyways, just keep watching, guys.